Because reading is what? Fundamental.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Do You Read BTS? I'm Lisa.
And I'm Dulaze. Welcome back, guys. So for this week, well, I should say this month because it's been taking us a little bit. We're
hmm
reading the story "Fake Bride." It is a Min Yoongi story, and it is by My Night _V on Wattpad. So let's get into it.
So we want to just shortly mention that we know that you guys are waiting for us to do drugs, and we read that story, and we will briefly mention it later. I don't know if you want to kind of talk about it, Delaze.
Yeah.
So let's just shortly talk about this story.
Okay.
Um,
Let me go back to it real quick so I can let you guys know where to find it. It's on
okay.
Wattpad. It is called Drugs. And
Mhm.
it is by a person who wrote a story. It is it is by Zaddy Jin. It is 18 and up, so when you read it, do be mindful of that. There's 4 parts to it.
No, I was just gonna say we were gonna cover this story, but it's just so detailed and that like it's detailed, but not enough for us to like really talk about. You guys have to just read that story
Yeah.
because the details is in the writing, and you just have to read it.
Yeah. It is kind of it's a quick read, so you can definitely get through it, but it's a good story. It's an interesting story. So, pretty much what happens is there's this girl, she's in school and she lives with her brother. Her brother is up to some stuff that she wasn't really too sure about, and I mean, I guess I can't even say that. She knew he was on some mess dealing with drugs and stuff, and she was just kind of
hmm
over it, but she was living her life or whatever. And she meets Yoongi one day, which she already knew of him from the past because her brother deals with Yoongi. And
hmm
he pretty much is like talking to her, kind of talking crazy, all this other stuff. And eventually he ends up giving her some drugs. And he's like, maybe you should take this to kind of calm down, mellow out, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, all right, whatever. But she's initially like, I'm not taking these drugs. I'm not doing that. I'm not about to get into this whole thing. She does. And her life starts to change pretty quickly.
hmm
She ends up going with Yoongi. They end up messing around and all this other stuff. They start, feeling one another, feeling things for one another. Yoongi has been like, he's never really wanted to be in a relationship, and he does. He ends up wanting to
hmm
be with her, and still on drugs. Still on drugs.
Bad.
Bad. Uh, Yoongi is the leader of this gang, and he always is a leader of somebody's gang.
Right, boss.
But he's the leader of this gang. So when they run into people who don't have the money or whatever, they just taking people out. They don't care. They
Like straight up, he
yeah.
ain't playing no games.
No game. Everybody knows him. They know he don't care. He will shoot and then move on like nothing happened. And so that happens a lot while they're together. Well, there's a point where her brother is now becoming an issue. And he pretty much asks her to kill her brother. And she does it.
Straight up.
Straight up kills this man, her brother.
hmm
Um,
Because she wanted to show how loyal she was to him.
right. To
And at that
him.
time, she was so loyal. Yeah, to, not the brother,
Right. To Yoongi.
to Yugi.
That mess took me for a loop. I was like, wait, you don't want to be loyal
Yeah,
to your brother that you're
yeah,
cool with?
yeah. So she ended up being real loyal to him. Like she does jobs with him. Like they just fall madly in love with each other. It's a couple things that go down. Like she's Scrooging, which is weird.
Yeah, but he like didn't stop them.
Yeah, he let them just do it, but then she just went back to him and like he literally killed Taeyeon for screwing her too.
Mm-hmm. That mess was crazy. Cause like her,
Yeah.
like when she got to the house, cause she went to the house to stay with them, and he lived with all of them, and
Hmm.
they always kind of eyeing her.
Yeah. She had to be beautiful because
Mm-hmm.
all of them wanted her. And JK wanted her bad too. He couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so mean to JK. He was really ruthless. Yuki was real ruthless in the story. He was like, I gave y'all all everything y'all got. Y'all ain't nothing without me. And they just stuck by him.
Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
they get to a point where they start to do other deals with outside people, and they have this meeting set up, and the guy ends up shooting Yoongi, right?
No.
No,
Your dude, your boy shoot Yuki.
that's what I'm saying. The dude ends up shooting Yoongi.
No, no, no. Your boy. For
Oh,
real.
that's right, that's right, that's right.
Namjoon.
Namjoon ends up shooting Yoongi. I forgot why though.
Namjoon ended up shooting Yugi because the other dude was going to kill Namjoon.
That's right. So yeah, so Namjoon had some other stuff going on the outside, and he had to do it in order to make sure he was straight. So he ends up shooting
Hmm.
Yoongi, but Yoongi don't die, but he in a coma for a little bit. And old girl
Right.
is sick. She is so sick from him not being around and all this other stuff. So she's still doing her thing, drugs.
Right. And then Yugi tried, I mean, not Yugi, Namjoon tried to tell her why he did that. And she was like, I don't want to hear it. Pal.
And kill
She
him
just,
too.
she was just,
Homegirl ended up being ruthless too. So as time's going
yeah.
on, her whole demeanor changes. She has no problems with shooting people.
Right.
She's like, this is what he would
She,
have wanted. They was like, girl, chill. She was like, why?
mm-hmm. While she on the drugs.
Right. Always on the drugs. Never like she's never sober when stuff is going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Yoongi ends up getting out of a coma. Um, they end up being happy and in love again. And in the second, well, that's not even true. She asked him to get out of the drug game, and he was like, I don't know about all that, girl. And she's like, if you love me, you'll do it so that, we can live a different type of life. And he was like, it's going to take me some time. There's some other stuff that happened, but I can't really remember exactly what it was, but they ended up not being together for a bit. And then in the second story, the second part, they end up finally getting back together, but I can't remember
And while he's
why.
still in the drug game, he never quit now.
Yeah, he never quit. She was like, I can't live without you. And he's like, I can't live without you. And then they ended up being back together anyway, still doing the drugs.
Anyway, guys, that was drugs.
That was drugs.
You guys gonna have to just read that on your own.
Yeah, like I said, there's 4 parts. So, go ahead and do that. But that story was kind of wild.
It was real wild.
I just couldn't get over her killing her brother. That was nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to Fake Bride. So we read Fake. I'm just gonna repeat it. We read Fake Bride for this episode. It is by my night _V on Wattpad. Yeah, let's get.
So the beginning of this story, it's a girl. She is pretty much alone by herself. She does not have family because her family died in a car wreck back in the day. So the only person she has is Hobie. Hobie found her eating somebody's trash.
It was food from his restaurant.
Yeah, and took her in, which is weird because he has a restaurant, but he don't. They don't really talk about that much.
No,
Like,
because he's also a choreographer.
right, and that's what they talk about.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he takes her in, pretty much just keeps her, raises her as she's growing up. And so she's working and she's graduated from high school. Now she's going to college and she has to find out how to pay for her college. And she don't want to ask Hobie, which he could afford it. I don't know why she won't just ask him, but I'm glad she did.
Yeah. And he was giving her money all the time anyway to make sure she was straight, like for food and stuff like that. So I don't know why she felt that way, but
Right. So she's like, okay, so I'm working a job. So randomly somebody calls her about a job because she sees that Yugi and his girlfriend of 5 years, which is a model, is getting married.
real
So
quick,
she,
Yoongi is a producer, like a world-renowned producer, and has like
mhm.
all these accolades. So they're really him and his model fiance are really high profile.
Right. Like they the it couple.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are rooting for them.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So she gets picked to be one of the waitress at the wedding. So she's there at the wedding. She's setting up. Her boss is like, "Girl, what you doing? Get over there and set up such and such and such and such." So she going out to set up something in the wedding, and she sees, oh girl, the bride to be, and she's crying, and she's like, "Tell Yugi I couldn't do it." Like she like, "Who you talking to, me? Like I'm just a waitress."
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Tell him I can't do it." So she jumps on her motorcycle and she dips.
Wait,
And
hops on
so
a motorcycle with a man
yeah, with a random man
and dips.
and dip. And so then she's like she hearing from the side, um, somebody talking and saying, "Oh, I can't believe she done that. What are we gonna do?" Blah 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 blah. She figures out that that's Yugi's parents.
Mm-hmm.
So Yugi, so she being nosy. She'll be like me, I'm dipping it. Like in my mind, I imagine her pulling the
Mm-hmm.
pulling the wherever the like the door open, looking, seeing what's going on. And the parents see her, and they're like, "Oh, you come here. You marry my son. Please help us and marry my son." She like, "I don't even know him. I can't marry your son."
Mm-hmm.
And they like, "Please marry him." And she was like, "Well, I do need my tuition paid for, so I could do this." And they're like, "Yeah, we don't want his reputation to be ruined, so please marry my son." So she gets down there, put on the wedding dress, go ahead and marry the son. Yugi don't know what's going on. He just know that his bride to be dipped off on him, and he all destroyed because he really loved this woman.
Mm-hmm.
He he like really did love her. So, but he also don't want his reputation to be ruined, and also he listened to what his parents said too. So he went ahead and married the girl. He already knew that they were gonna be divorced, so they was like, okay, we just gonna do this, gonna get divorced after, and then everything gonna be straight. So they got married. Everything is everything. He was so rude and mean to her.
Mm-hmm.
Come and then the parents was like, okay, go ahead and move in with him, and y'all get settled. We gonna send y'all on y'all honeymoon to Japan, and yeah, we'll deal with everything after that. Go
Okay,
ahead, D.
so there's a part. So at the wedding, Hobie was actually at the wedding, and it was a big deal because Hobie is best friends with Yoongi, and so the night before, like a couple of days before, she was saying that she was with her boyfriend, and Hobie's like, "That's crazy! I didn't know you had a boyfriend." So when she was the
Mhm.
one that was getting married, he was like, "This is the boyfriend that you was talking about. Why didn't you tell me? Blah blah blah. This is my best friend. All this other stuff." So she's just looking like crap. I forgot I lied about that, and now he's
Mhm.
trying to make two and two match. So Yoongi, he ends up having a conversation with Yoongi about that, and Yoongi's kind of like, "I'm not really sure what you're talking about, but all right, man, you take care."
Mhm.
So yeah, so they move in together. His mom and his dad are like super nice to her. They're super caring towards her. They cook together. They come in the house and hang out and all this other stuff. And he's like, "It's cool. We're gonna get divorced tomorrow." And they're like, "Actually, let's do this instead. We're gonna
Mhm.
send y'all to this honeymoon, and y'all gonna do that, and then you can just try to figure it out." So they go on this honeymoon, and they actually have a really good time. They get to know each other. They really like are starting to kind of see one another for who they actually are, and
Mhm.
then they end up having sex. And at the time, homegirl had never been kissed, had never had
Mhm.
sex. She had done nothing. So she was just like, "Oh
Mhm.
wow, I can't believe all this happened. This is crazy, but this is cool. We're like in a good space or whatever." Yoongi gets to wherever he was at and was like, "Bro, I think I made a mistake."
Mhm.
So he goes back, talks to his manager, and he's like, "Hey man, so here's the thing. I slept with her and I still want a divorce." And the manager's like, "Whoa man, let's maybe think about this. Maybe just stay with her, see what happens, what's going on." And Yugi keeps telling him that he is in love with his girlfriend and wants to find her. And he's not going to stop because that's the person that he's supposed to be with.
Mhm.
So his manager's like, "Hey, just give it some time and then you can do whatever you need to do." And he's like, "Okay, bet." over this time, they're starting to get to know one another even more. They living as husband and wife. He taking her. He's kind of crappy towards her when because he ends up telling her that he wants a divorce, and she's like, "Are you kidding me right now?" And then, but she's kind of understanding about the whole situation. She was
Hmm.
understanding a lot about a lot of situations that happened
But
in this
that
story.
sex they was but that sex that went on, honey, she was like she got her feelings about it
Mm-hmm.
because as they was in Japan, they got really close though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like when they first was in Japan, he like was like, "Well, girl, do whatever." But by the time of the end of the trip, and they had sex, he was like going with her to places, like having fun with her, getting to know her. She was getting to know him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a good thing.
Mm-hmm. So she's kind of upset about that, but then she gets over it and she's like, okay, because he decides, hey, we're just gonna do this for a little bit, whatever. So they do, and things are getting really good. And he ends up telling her that he's in love with her and that he does love her, and she ends up telling him the same.
Mhm.
So now they're like for real being husband and wife and all this other stuff, and he's taking care of her, taking her to class because she's still in college,
Mhm.
and doing all this other stuff. Well, it come to find out in like another scene, Hobie is having a conversation with this girl, and the girl is Yoongi's ex fiance.
Yes.
Yoongi's ex fiance, whose name is also Min something, I can't remember. Um,
Mhm.
she is with Hobie has been in love with her or whatever. So he's wanting them to be together, all this other stuff, but she's just kind of like living her life. It is what it is.
Mhm.
So there's that part of the story. So now you flash forward and the homegirl is gonna start back working because she hasn't been working this entire time since she's been gone. She's gonna
Mhm.
start working for the company that is where Yoongi works, his like label
And
or
that's
whatever.
what was so crazy. Like, you knew, Hobie, that you wanted this girl. Why did you bring her to that label?
That was the only one that would accept her because everybody else would not take her.
Why? Because she ran away from Yugi?
I think so. I don't know. I thought
Hmm.
it seemed kind of odd, but I wasn't really sure. I was just like, all right, yeah, they won't take her. Okay. Um, I'm not really sure what happened with that, but yeah, that's the only one that would take her. So she ends
Hmm.
up starting to work for that company. Well,
Yeah, but before that, let me just mention this that Hobie had this conversation with Yugi. And he was like, "You love my sister, right?" He was like, "Yeah, I love her. I love her so much. We so good together. We mashed together. Everything great." Like, y'all don't understand. They've been talking about kids and everything at this point.
mm-hmm,
Like, they not using protection anymore.
mm-mm,
Like they just doing their thing. And Hubby's talking to him, and he's like, "So if old girl came back around, you'll still be in love with my sister?" And he was like, "Yeah, I love your sister. I don't even want her. I ain't even think about her no more, or whatever." He was like, oh, "Okay." Then that's when she start getting ready to work for the company.
yeah. So after that, she starts running into him in the office, and he's avoiding her at all costs.
Mm-mm,
Oh
mm-mm,
no!
mm-mm.
I
Don't
forgot the
skip
event.
this part.
I forgot. My bad. My bad. Just kidding. Scratch that.
Okay, don't skip. This is the important part. So in this part, okay, her old girl and Yugi are in a great place. Okay, so Yugi's best friend, which we don't know who he is, he's an actor. He's starring in a movie where Yugi takes a girl to the premiere. He tell her dress good. He give her a dress. She all pretty and everything. And he's like, okay, so we're gonna go to this thing, and I want you here with me. And she was like, don't you want to just go by yourself? This is just a business thing or whatever. He was like, no, I want you there with me. So he takes her to this premiere. All these paparazzi were around him, and he was asking her, he was like, you know what? They were like kept asking about the girl that he was with for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, she was just a thing. We're over now. This is my wife. I'm in love with her. This is who I see a future with. Like he was talking so nice and sweet about this
Mm-hmm.
girl. All the girl could do was just smile because she was just like in love.
And this was the first time that anybody had like really seen her since they had
Hmm.
gotten married, because they got followed by some paparazzi and fans and stuff like that when they were going on their honeymoon, but like nobody had like really seen her until this event.
Right. And so y'all know, like we said, that they were him and his model girlfriend was like a thing. So everybody loved them. Everybody loved them. So when this girl just came out the woodworks, everybody hated her
And
because
first of
they know
all,
where she came from.
how is she going to class? Like she's not a whole like worldwide person's wife. Like she was just sitting in regular class, and people was walking up to her and
Hmm.
showing her stuff, and she like,
Girl, I was so mad at that other girl, but we gonna get there.
I'm like, online classes, girl.
Right. Because this girl just kept coming up to her in her class. She didn't even like the girl. She just kept going, "Oh, you took Yugi away from me. And why you even do that? I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm rooting for them. I hope she come back." Like stuff like that. And she was just sitting there taking it.
She was really like really level headed to be. I
Hmm.
don't know if it's level headed or if she was like dumb. I'm not, maybe not dumb, but she was just really like naive to a lot of stuff, I think.
Yeah,
Or she was just
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, she was just kind of soft hearted and just kind of she just let people talk to her any kind of way,
Hmm.
basically. So anyway, back to the premiere. So they talking to the paparazzi, say what they need to say, and now they're walking towards the movie theater. And who does Sugar see?
That ex,
Man.
yep. And everybody, because they started hearing like a bunch of noise because people was getting like real riled up, and they
Mm.
looked and it was her, and Yoongi froze.
Yes, he just sit there, and the girl looking because she know the whole story. She know the whole thing. He love that girl and all that, so she understand why he looking like that. So she looking at him and she like, "You okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm alright." He grab her and they go to the movie theater. They go straight in, and now Sugar done see her. And he's stone faced. He just sitting there stone faced.
The
And
whole movie.
the whole movie. And the girl, men, sit like 4 seats ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so old girl is just like staring. All she could do, she couldn't even watch the movie. She was just staring at Yugi the
Mm-hmm.
whole time. And then she was just sad. Because she knew what was happening between the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so she asked to go be excused. She went to the bathroom. She go to the bathroom, get her, refreshing herself. And who walk in?
Oh,
Man.
girl.
So she walk in and she talking to her like, do you love him? Do he love you? Blah 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 blah. And then she was like, just please just treat him right. Just please treat him well.
Right.
So she's like, all the girl could say was, okay, I will. And so then she leaves out the bathroom. She goes out the bathroom. She just so torn. And she hear the girl in the bathroom boo hoo crying. And see, at this time, it made me think. I'm like, why is she crying so hard? I
Mm-hmm.
didn't, I didn't understand why she was crying so hard, and she left him.
I did.
So the girl boohoo cried, and it makes her sad. And so she just kind of feels sad that the girl cried. So she kind of know that it's more than it is, but she still don't know why. So she goes back into the movie theater. She's sitting next to Yugi. Yugi still stone faced. She kind of look at him. He see her crying. He look at her. He like looking at her like it's okay or whatever. And then she's like, "I love you." And he said, "I know you do."
That's
I was
it.
mad at Yugi. I
That's
was like,
it.
"Why you couldn't tell her you love her too? You
Right.
been telling her the whole time you love her. Now you
Mm-hmm.
can't say it,
A mess.
right?" So she just lay on his shoulder, and the movie just go on. Go ahead, D.
But so the movie goes on. They're in silence. They end up leaving. He's still really, really quiet, and he is in his head pretty much battling how he really feels because now he's confused and he
Hmm.
don't know what he about to do. So he ends up going to work. I want to say like the next day or so, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do a music video." So he's got a new album that's about to come out. He's gonna be going on tour, all this other stuff. So he's shooting his MVs and all this other stuff. So he's doing his I guess like the production meeting or something like that for the MV, and in walks Min. And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, yeah, she's gonna be in the MV with you, blah 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 blah, and it's gonna be like 2 weeks long. So he's like, crap, I don't want to spend that much time with her, but whatever, I have to do this for the job. Hobie doesn't know that old girl is doing this MV until later on.
Mm-hmm.
So they start filming the MV. They start kind of getting close. They getting hot and heavy. At the end of them shooting, they go to the dressing room and they start making out and they start about to get it in. And then his phone rings and he's like, "I gotta go," because it's his wife.
Well, wait a minute. Can I please say this part?
Go ahead.
Because when he found out that he was shooting that video with her, he went back to his studio. He was talking to his management, and he was like, "Are y'all trying to kill me? Are y'all trying to make me go crazy? Like, why y'all doing this to me?"
Definitely
Like,
has said
first
that.
he found out that she was working at the company. He still was mad about that. He was like, "Y'all trying to make me go crazy." Then he found out he had to work with her. Oh, this scene was so special to me.
Mm.
That's why I'm mentioning it. Because he was like, "Y'all trying to make me go crazy. Like, why? Why?" And so, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. So the thing that I thought was interesting about that whole thing and just how everything kind of was playing out, I'm like his company, his manager ain't worth the nothing because they set that whole thing up. It seemed like to make sure that he
Hmm.
was doing wrong because they got so much media out of that. So
Yeah.
the whole time that they're filming this MV, old girl is still in school, but now she's starting to feel a little sick. And she's like, I don't know why I feel sick. And everybody reading is like, I do. I know exactly why
Right.
you sick, girl.
Hmm.
So she's feeling sick. She ends up like calling Hobie and all this other stuff, and he ends up taking care of her. They find out she's pregnant. So when she finds out she's pregnant, she's super geek because her and Yoongi are in love, and they've said that they loved each other and things are going great. So he comes home
And he
one.
wanted a little man junior.
Yeah, he wanted a kid. So she prepares all this stuff for him and is getting ready to tell him, and he comes home and she's like, hey, I cooked for you, but he's not really like listening to her. And so he's like, just order something, just put it on my cart, and like and dips. So she ends up going in the other room, starts to cry, all that good stuff. So when in the morning he wakes up and he sees the candles burned out, he sees that the food on the table covered with little like things to keep it warm, I guess, and
Hmm.
realizes he's like really shitty.
Right.
So he feels bad about it, but he's like, okay, let's just figure it out. So he ends up going to work to do more stuff with the MV, and him and
No,
Oak.
he don't. No, he don't, girl. You skipping.
Am I skipping too far? I'm sorry.
No, you're not skipping too far, but I need these because this is important. These are important to me. Maybe it's just to me. But he ended up going to get her in her
Oh,
room.
I forgot. Yeah, he do end up
Yeah,
going to
he
get
ended
her.
up going to get her in her room because he was cold in that bed by himself. He ended up going to get her, bringing her to the room, covering her up, like kissing on her face, telling her he real sorry. He won't do that again. He just because he felt so bad about her cooking all that food. Like she planned to tell him, but she never did tell him,
She
and
never
I was
did.
mad at her for that.
I mean, but to be fair, the reason why she never really told him was he did not. So as he's doing this music video, he stops answering the phone, stops answering her texts. He does.
Hmm.
He's never around. So she really never got a chance to talk to him, and that happened for 2 weeks consistently.
But girl, ain't you gonna tell your baby father that you pregnant no matter what?
How are you gonna do it if they not answering the phone?
Um, text because he was reading her text, but he was leaving it on read. I'm pregnant. Little man coming.
Little man coming. You the pappy.
Okay, go ahead, girl.
But yeah, so
Yeah, so he had been pretty much ignoring her. Like he be seeing her text, but he was ignoring her. Like he wasn't come home at night. After him and old girl had sex in that back room or whatever it was, they was back there having sex. He ain't pretty much paid no attention to her. Then
yep.
after that, he After that, he came back and he was like, "Let's just get a divorce."
Let's just get a divorce. The thing that got me though, he was so in it with his ex that they was getting a hotel room and staying together the whole time,
Yeah.
so they could have their little escapades. But yeah, he came home and was like, "Let's get a divorce," and she was crushed because now she's freaking pregnant. She thought he
Uh-huh.
loved her, and he's
Uh-huh.
saying he wants a divorce. So she just kind of stunned and hurt, but she's just like, "All right, we gotta do what we gotta do. It is what it is, I guess." Like she was hurt, obviously. She was crying and she was
Yeah.
not happy about it, but she was really understanding considering.
Uh-huh.
So he ends up sending the paper, or she's at school or she's out somewhere, and they give her the papers. So she ends up signing the papers. They get divorced. He starts officially dating his ex again. So
Uh-huh.
and then people are still coming up to her at school, telling her, "Hey, girl, I know. Did you see this video thing? They was out there kissing, da 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 da." And she's just like, "Yeah, okay, whatever," trying to be unfazed, but knowing it's killing her inside.
Right.
Yoongi and his ex are like together. They're doing things. He's about to go on. Oh, no, 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 not yet. He's
No, they was planning that wedding.
They was planning a wedding. Okay.
Uh-huh. I'll tell it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, so they was planning this wedding. I mean, it was going to be grand too. Like they had planned the whole where it was going to be, what was going to be. They were planning. In the midst of it, his mama came and she was like, "What are you doing? You are not marrying this girl." He was like, "Mama, you can get over it. I am marrying this girl." And I don't know why y'all don't want me to marry her. I've been with her 5 years. I was with this girl 2 months or whatever. And she was like, because back in the day, your father and I was getting down at the party. We was drunk, driving home, hit her and her parents, killed her parents, got out the car, see the little girl crying, and did nothing but turn around and walk away.
And said that they wanted to give her a sense of family since they took hers.
Oh my gosh, this scene.
I was like, wait, what? So that was the
Yes,
twist, because you're like, why is his mom
yes,
and dad so invested in this girl they don't know? And so he asked, he
exactly.
was like, how do you know it's her? And she's like, I noticed the scar on her cheek next to her ear. I'm like, girl, that's oddly specific, but like, I feel like some people could have that. You might have got
Right.
scratched that day. You know what I mean? So I was just like, that's weird, but okay, girl. So you have this
Right.
guilt. So you thought you was gonna make this better by marrying her off, but then Hobie like kind of knew about it
Right.
and
And Hobie had his own little
agenda.
reason, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because he told her that he has been in love with her since day one. Evidently, me and Hobie was closer back in the day.
Right. And yeah.
And he was in love with her, but he would not tell her. And men was like, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" Men was in the room now because now Yugi is finding out that his parents did all that to make them break up and all that.
Right.
So now Hobie telling his story how he loved her from day one, and she was like, "Why you ain't tell me? Because I was in love with you, and I was just waiting on you to tell me."
Wait, real quick. The reason why Yoongi found out, because his mom tried to say something about, well, she left you. How could you even want to be with her? And Min was finally like, you know what, girl, I'm tired of you lying on me. The reason why I left
Uh-huh.
is because you told me I had to leave because he didn't love me or whatever. And she was like, well, and
Uh-huh.
that's how that whole story came about.
Right. So at the end of them all finding all that out, they was just like, you know what? We still love each other, and we still get married. So y'all just gonna have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. So now it's like they planned this wedding super quick. Like it was like Tuesday, they was getting married on Saturday. Like it was really quick. So
Uh-huh.
it's the day of the wedding, everything's set up, everything's nice, and Yoongi went because I mean not Yoongi, Hobie still went even though his friend was gonna marry the love of his life, but he went because that's his friend and he was gonna support. So he goes to the wedding and he notices the bride's getting ready to walk out, and like everybody's kind of looking around like, why isn't the groom at the thing before the bride? And Yoongi was playing the piano, so Hobie's real confused now because he's like, what's going on? So they're like, hey, you're about to get married. So
Mm-hmm.
come to find out, after they heard everything, and old girl, which was funny, old girl knew that the ex wife was pregnant before Yoongi did.
Right, because Hobie had already told her, you know she pregnant, right?
And then she felt guilty about that, and then he confessed his feelings and all this other stuff. And she realized, yeah, I really do love you, blah blah blah. So they had planned all this after hearing all of that, and decided that they were gonna get married instead. So they end up getting married, and old girl is walking. Here, I'll let you tell the scene, girl.
Woo! This is my favorite scene. This is my favorite scene. Okay, okay. So what we failed to mention is when Hobie was getting ready to be married, she had already moved back in with Hobie. So when he was getting ready for the wedding or whatever, and she was like tying his tie or whatever, and he was like, you sure you don't want to go with me? You sure?" And she was like, "I cannot take that pain. Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
do it." Now she all big and pregnant now. I don't even know how far along she was. Like maybe like a couple months. She wasn't.
Yeah.
She was just enough to be showing her belly good
Mm-hmm.
by then. So I want to say she's probably about 5 or 6 months.
Probably.
So anyway, so so after the wedding, Hobie got married to the girl and all that good stuff. So this girl was like, okay, I need to go get some groceries or whatever. So she ended up going to the grocery store, getting all this stuff, like all this food that she didn't need.
Mm-hmm.
But she pregnant. If anybody know how it is, be pregnant, honey, you just be eating stuff to eat stuff. And she was like getting all this stuff. So she had like these bags and like, okay, now I don't know if this is what it is. In my head, this is the scene. Okay. So picture it. Picture it. So it was a crosswalk, right? It was a crosswalk. And she had the bags in her hand. She was about to walk across the street and she was at the stop. You know how when you at a crosswalk you have to wait for the signals to turn for you to
Mm-hmm.
walk across. So she was waiting for the signals to turn. She was getting ready to walk and she looked up and she see Sugar standing right there just smiling at her.
Mm-hmm.
And she dropped her bag. She was like shocked. And he picked up the bags. He laughing at her. She's like, "What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be getting married?" And he was like, "No, that was Hobie's wedding. He got married. He's the one that got married. I realized that I did not love her. I love you, and I want to be with you. I don't want nobody else but you and our baby." And she was like, "Wait, how you even know about the baby?" And then
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Men told me everything. We kind of talked about it and just decided this is what we want. We don't want to be with each other. We want well." I want you, and she wanted Hobie, and that was it.
Yeah, they end up having the baby and all that good stuff. But yeah, oh wait, that's kind of it. They end up having the baby, and then I mean not Yoongi, Hobie and oh girl were pregnant too. Like they got
Hmm.
pregnant a
When
little
she
bit
was
later
having a
on.
baby.
Yeah, yep.
Hmm.
So they ended up getting pregnant later on. But yeah, that was the story.
They
How
were so cute.
it was cute. It was very cute. How did?
I really love. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, girl.
No, you good?
I really love this story so much. It was so cute. It was just what I love to read. Short. The chapters were there was a lot of chapters, but the chapters were short. It was very detailed. There was not a huge amount of smut in it, but it was some smut in it, and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I loved the fluff in it, everything. I just loved it. I loved the whole thing. It kept me engaged the whole time. It made me want to finish the story really fast because it was one of those stories of, oh, I got to know what happened next. Oh, I got to know what happened next.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I actually stayed up way later than I was supposed to one night reading this story.
Yeah, because I remember you text me talking about some girl. I just finished the story. I woke up the next morning like, girl, it's like two. What do you mean? But yeah, it was a really good story.
How'd you
Excuse me.
feel about it?
So I liked it. I agree with you. I liked the length of it. So it was like she said, it had a lot of chapters, but they were quick chapters. And it got to the point, like it gave you detail without being too much detail, where it just extended the story. It actually kind
Uh-huh.
of it moved the story forward, and it was definitely very entertaining to read. The only thing I didn't really, it was just a little bit hard to read for me because of how it was
Uh-huh.
written, and it like I know me and Lisa were talking about this before. She's like, it seemed like it may have been translated, which is
Uh-huh.
cool. But yeah, it was just a little bit hard to read, but you kind of like knew what was being said, so you're just like, okay, I understand where they're going with this. But that was the only thing I didn't really care for it. But other than that, I really liked the story. I thought it was very entertaining. It had some
Uh-huh.
twists that I was not expecting, because the
Yes.
family killing her family, I was not expecting that at all.
I'm like, first of all, I need a part two. Because I need
Girl,
to know, did she find out about them parents?
right. That's what I want to know about. Are
How
they going
she
to
felt
jail?
about it?
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Are they going to jail? Like, what? Like, because I would have been mad.
girl, like that's crazy because you set this whole thing up because you was guilty. I mean, it
And
worked
not only
out.
that, you walked, I could have died. You
Right,
walked away from a child crying.
right. Like, I mean, it worked out like, after, but it's still like that's messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just thought it was a really cool idea, and I thought the twists were really nice. So
Mm-hmm.
I liked this one.
It was
Um,
so good.
Lisa is reading another story by her that I'm going to start reading soon as
Ooh,
well after we do
it's
this
so good.
OT7 story.
Y'all, if y'all want to read it now, I'm telling y'all, it's so good. I've already been into it. This month is on another level. It's called Roommates with Benefits. I know we probably read another story like that too.
It was
Did we
called the
read
same
another story?
exact thing. It was a
Yeah,
Nam June story.
yeah, Roommates with Benefits. But it's total. Well, it's different,
No,
but
it's
it's the
different
same.
because they wasn't
But
doing
it's
all
different.
that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This story. Oh my God, y'all got to read it. I ain't even gonna tell y'all about it because y'all just gotta read it yourself. It's so good.
But it is by the same author that wrote Fake Bride. So if y'all want to find it, that apparently they have like a crap ton of stories on their Wattpad page.
52.
Yeah, so definitely
52.
go check them out. They're entertaining. You will be
Mm-hmm.
thoroughly entertained.
Right.
So the story that we're going to be reading next, and it is going to take us some time because it is 175 chapters and the chapters are kind of long, but we are,
Uh-huh.
after we did all the tallies of the votes, encoded, what was the story called?
Decoded.
I'm about to go look. It's called Encoded in Our DNA. So it is an
Yes.
OT7 story that we are reading. It is again called Encoded in Our DNA. It is by writing hashtag wow writing dash Pixie. It's a hyphen. Pixie on Wattpad. So we are reading that one next. It is gonna take us some time. So
Yep.
please bear with
Bear with
us,
us.
but we will get it out as soon as we humanly can, possibly can. So,
Uh-huh.
but you guys can always follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on our TikTok. You can follow us on our Twitter. You can always email us at doyoureadbts@yahoo.com. We are going to be doing another poll at some point after we finish Encoded in Our DNA, so we can, get your guys' input on what we should read next. But yeah, that was another episode. Yep. All right, and the first one of 2022. Happy New Year,
Woo!
y'all.
Happy New Year. Read more Bonton stories.
Yes, those stories are so good. My homegirl, we were actually talking about it yesterday. She's telling her mom, she's like, I don't really know much about BTS, but them stories are good.
Girl,
She's like,
I'm
I'm just
telling
so
you.
interested in them. I was like, yeah, right. And she said, I'm real mad because you haven't sent me anything in a while, and I'm not keeping up, and I'm really feeling some type of way. But she told me she was gonna pay for the subscription so that she can read stories while she's not connected to
Ooh.
the internet.
Oh,
I said,
now
you go
she's a
ahead, girl.
trooper.
You go
She's a
ahead.
trooper.
Yeah.
Cause I'm thoroughly gonna watch them commercials in
Girl,
the
if you
middle.
don't just swipe your phone up, close out of it, and open that thing back up, it skips right over them commercials.
Oh I didn't know that.
Yes, I do that all the time. I'll be reading. I'm like, nope. Next.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so yeah, y'all bear with us about the next story. We're gonna keep reading these stories. Y'all keep sticking it in there with us and following us. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in February. I'm
February,
kidding.
my
I'm
birthday.
kidding. No, we're gonna have a story out before then. Hopefully, I don't know. It's still early in the month. It's a long story. There's a lot going on.
We're
Um,
gonna be turning up in February for my
yes, we
birthday.
will. You know, we should do like we have to low key record together because that would be
Oh
the first time that
yeah.
we would ever be able to record together.
Right, even if it's a little something.
Maybe and not maybe not even like a podcast. Like maybe we just do a TikTok together.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool too.
That would be cool. Oh, and guys, just want to let you know, we have a new theme song, a new intro song for the podcast. So if you heard it at the beginning, you'll hear it at the end. We're really excited about it. I had a good friend make it for me. So yeah, tell us what you guys think.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.